Okay, so listen to this explosive drama. Suge Knight and Gene Deal are tag teaming from behind the scenes to expose Diddy. And what they're saying? It's beyond wild. Gene Deal just dropped a bombshell claiming Diddy has been a FED informant for years. Like, what? While pretending to be a music mogul, he's secretly been feeding the feds info and covering up his alleged part in the murder of Tupac Shakur. And now, Gene's being hunted. Literally. Diddy's supporters just attacked him, and let's be real, Gene's life is on the line now.
He's gonna go to prison. And if he do, it'll be for something very, very small. It wouldn't be nothing what the people think. I don't think he's gonna go nowhere long. And at the same time, you gotta look at it. The best witness they had is KPD. KPD been an informant for a very, very long time. And KPD is getting ready to go to trial for the murder of Tupac. KPD said it, everybody else know it. And KPD said the money came from Puffy, to keep Tupac and myself. So if they really wanted Puffy that bad, KPD would have put a deal with them, got on that stand, and broke it down. That would have been the RICO right there. That would have been murder for hire right there.
And I got a lot of respect for you, Suge. I got so much respect for you, bro, because when this East Coast, West Coast war could have been shutting down, Pac was living, Big was living, Eric B, Big D, y'all set up there and y'all was gonna set up a meeting. Everybody who had something to do with it was supposed to show up, and Puff refused to. You didn't, brother. You wanted this shit to be over with. Even though you didn't f with Puff, y'all wasn't dealing with each other no more. I remember when you and Pac was in the car behind the House of Blues. You was in the red Rolls Royce, Pac was in the white. I was in the car when Puff rolled up on you and said, yo, Suge, we got any problems down here? And you said, bro, I don't know any problems you got. That was even after Jake was. You said, brother, I don't know any problems you got.
This is getting crazy. Suge Knight and Gene Deal might be the only ones who really know what happened the night Tupac got shot. Don't forget, Suge was literally in the car when it went down. And Gene? He was reportedly with Diddy when the plan was being cooked up. Yeah, that close. Fast forward to September 29th, 2023. Nearly 27 years since Tupac was murdered, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis gets charged for being involved in the drive-by. But wait, now Keefe is flipping the script. He just told a Nevada court that it was Diddy who paid him to take out Tupac. Like, this is major. Keefe says Eric Von Zip Martin was the middleman in the whole deal. And get this, Diddy allegedly wanted both Tupac and Suge Knight dead. Can you even imagine?
During the Biggie Smalls investigation in the early 2000s, the filing reads, the three LAPD and FBI agents were part of a task force to solve the shooting of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, legal name Christopher Wallace. The task force, through a sophisticated criminal investigation, obtained sufficient evidence that would prove Mr. Davis was the leader of the Southside Crips and his gang was responsible for over 360 kilos of cocaine and PCP. Mr. Davis provided 3 interviews to obtain immunity from prosecution. The final interview were solely questions regarding the Tupac Shakur shooting, which Mr. Davis was also provided immunity from prosecution. So during a December 2008 interview with investigators, that is when Davis allegedly started to spill the beans about his one-time friend, Sean Combs, who he refers to as Puffy. He claims Sean Puffy Combs solicited Mr. Davis to kill Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur for $1 million. Eric Zip Martin, an associate of Puffy Combs, provided Mr. Davis with a gun to exact revenge on Tupac Shakur for the beating Mr. Anderson received. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, neither he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs had paid the go-between Zip Martin, who he claims kept the money for himself. And he said much of the same thing in a 2009 interview a year later, because according to the motion to dismiss, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as far back as 2009, was in possession of the same set of facts that the Clark County District Attorney is now alleging makes Mr. Davis responsible for the Tupac Shakur. The Clark County District Attorney's Office has offered no reason as to why it waited another 14 years to prosecute a case against Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis has been irreversibly prejudiced by this unnecessary delay in prosecution of this case, and Mr. Davis's constitutional rights have been violated in an extraordinary manner never before witnessed in the annals of the American criminal justice system.
But hold on, it gets worse. Just days after Keith pointed fingers at Diddy, he's mysteriously attacked in prison. What are the odds, right? As soon as Diddy's name gets dropped, bam, Keith gets jumped. This isn't coincidence, it's a warning.
We have an update now on Dwayne "Keefy D" Davis. He's charged in the murder of Tupac Shakur. Davis was in court again this morning after a fight with another inmate. Fox 5's Mike Allen walks us through what happened.
Dwayne Davis is answering for a jailhouse brawl. Here's what court records show, along with images from surveillance video released by Las Vegas Justice Court. On December 23rd, Davis was being escorted back into his cell when another inmate, Rockland Hamilton, who's also facing a charge, is standing to the right by a sink in this room. Hamilton walked over to Davis and squared up, looking ready to fight. They started throwing punches and grappling, and the officer escorting Davis called for backup, gave verbal commands too for the inmates to stop fighting, and then hit them with pepper spray. Before backup officers arrived, the two inmates kept grappling and throwing punches and were eventually separated after backup officers got into the room. Both Davis and Hamilton face battery by prisoner charges.
And here's where Suge Knight comes in again. Suge's not sugarcoating anything. He says Diddy was involved in Tupac's murder. And guess who agrees with him? Yep, Gene Deal. He's been backing Suge's claims all the way. Even the cops reportedly knew Diddy had a hand in it. But Diddy never got indicted. Why? Because he was leaking inside info to the feds. That's right. Diddy's been snitching for decades. And people in the streets knew. They always knew what kind of man he really was.
Man, that caught my attention. You said that Suge, he's the only one who knows who killed Tupac. Why you say that?
Suge was there. Suge was there, and even though you in a hostile situation and you've been and guns is firing out, you're gonna get that glance and that look at the individuals or the people in the car. Like Keefy D said, I spoke to Suge. We know each other from school. So in that time, as you speaking to somebody, you see who is in the car. You see who's in the car. If somebody got enough time to speak to you or say something to you and have a brief conversation, they got enough time to get a glance of who in that car. Now check this out. If they know each other and the windows is down and they spoke to each other, you don't think Suge don't know who did the shooting or who was in there? He said, I'll never say, because to him, he'll be a rat.
And don't think Diddy did all this alone. Nope. Word is he had a mole inside Death Row Records. Someone Tupac and Suge actually trusted. Someone who blended in, played both sides. That traitor allegedly told Diddy everything. When Tupac would be in Vegas, what car he'd be in, who'd be with him. Every little detail. This wasn't a random hit. This was a calculated setup from the inside.
Shooter, the person who shot Tupac, did you get to see their face? And was this a person that worked for Death Row?
Yeah. What I would say is this. I'm not calling a certain person Judas. Whereas names could go with those people are Judas. I know more than one person involved in the assassination. And respectfully, I would say that I gave the husband, I gave the wife, and by the way, they're black people. I stand on my blackness because I am black. So out of respect to them and their project, you the homie, but you're going to have to wait to see what really happened when they put it out. That's all I can say about that part. But there's no secrets.
Testified that he saw, and he was overworked, and that he saw things that just didn't make sense, and that he had to run down on Suge Knight, or would have if Suge Knight would have actually been there.
I was thinking about that. If all of this stuff is true, Suge Knight ain't had nothing on this. What you mean?
You think so?
Suge
Or do we
Knight has
just
always been known as the boogeyman of hip hop. But if all of this stuff is true, Suge ain't had nothing. on Diddy.
Oh, you mean as far as the type of person they are?
Being a boogeyman.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like bad boy.
And let's talk about the feds. If they really wanted Diddy behind bars, they could have done it years ago. He's been so bold, he even talked about illegal stuff live on TV. Yet somehow, he keeps walking free. And don't forget, the feds have a 98% conviction rate. Over 30 people testified against him, and Diddy didn't even bother taking the stand. Still, no serious charges stuck. It's like the justice system just gave him a slap on the wrist.
Answers are there. How could you not say they don't want to see Puffy get life? The FBI is the most powerful people in the world. They're government. They have great prosecution people. Look at the prosecution rate. I think it's maybe 92, 98%. If you was just looking at it, you wouldn't think the prosecutors, as great as they are, if they was really trying to get this man off the street. But it's still, if I was Puffy, I'd just some time and got it out the way. Because if he go in there and do a little time, he was going to feel he paid some debt to society. He'd start off where he left. If he get no time, the street's going to know the deal's been cut. If you get no time, nobody in the industry is going to f with him. It's going to be a bad problem for him because Puffy got to have security 24 hours a day. It ain't Puffy can get out of jail and start his own car up and drive around and live life. Him without security, he know he on fault time. So he had to have security. Him without drugs, see, he probably wouldn't be able to have a conversation with nobody. He probably wouldn't be able to look nobody in the eye. He probably wouldn't even be able to bag a bitch.
Why? Because Diddy knows too much. He's got dirt on everyone, every elite in hip-hop, every shady deal, every secret. Diddy's been running the narrative from the shadows for too long. But now, those same elites are trying to take him down. That's why he finally got arrested. But don't get too excited. He's still protected. He's still their little informant. The feds need him.
Is Diddy at a level of being untouchable where he's protected, or is Diddy a target that they'll eventually put all the blame on him and make sure they get away with it free?
I mean, he's definitely going to be the black motherfucker in the bag. Because you gotta realize one thing. That boy life is dangerous. His life is and he's just not dangerous with the shit they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He know too much. One thing you gotta realize is he probably having a conversation right now with the higher-ups and everybody else to figure out how it's going to work itself out. Because he know all the secrets. And if he get to running his mouth, it could be a bad look. I look at it like the most important thing is the industry need to be built over. You have all these executives that somebody was their father, their grandfather, or all these type of stuff, and they don't give people the opportunity to grow and learn. I know when I first started in this business, it wasn't a machine. I had to be the machine. I had to figure out how to get my songs on the radio. Because at that time, they was getting 5%, and they got 10%, those popping champagne bottles. I went from 95% of the songs you hear on the radio was my songs into 97%. So you have to really do all this thing and really do the work.
And Gene Deal, he's had enough. He's been calling out Diddy's lies for years, and Diddy's finally snapping. He's not about to risk jail again, so now he's coming for Gene, hard. Just days ago, Gene was attacked, not by strangers, by Diddy's own supporters. Gene says this is just the beginning. He even revealed that Diddy sent men to silence him. That's how serious this is.
I'm not the type of dude that you can come up on like
Bro, listen, we out here
what kind of content?
You're not gonna tell me what to do.
You can't come up on me.
Bro, listen.
If you come up on me, I'm gonna knock you the f out.
That's what I say.
That's what I say. No. That's what I say. No, bro, shit.
It came to light for y'all that this dude wanted me dead way before I came to YouTube. because I was having meetings with serious dudes in the street. And he refused to sit down. So what did he do? He tell his security team. He didn't tell the NYPD officers. He didn't tell the Department of Correction officers. He didn't tell none of the parole officers or anybody he had working for him that was officers. He told street dudes who had did dirt in the street. When y'all see Gene, y'all do him dirty. Y'all beat him up. He ain't tell him to beat me up. What I look like getting beat up? What a grown man look like, somebody smacking him around, hitting him and all this shit like that. I ain't taking no ass whooping. I ain't took an ass whooping since the fucking doctor spanked me on my fucking ass. I ain't took an ass whooping since my mama and my daddy. When they stopped taking it, I guess I'm got amnesia. I don't know what an ass whooping look like or feel like. What he look like telling somebody to whoop my ass? He didn't tell him that. He wanted me in the dirt and was trying to rock me to sleep. He knew where I was at.
But here's the thing. Gene's not backing down. Never has. He's not scared to get his hands dirty. If Diddy thinks intimidation will work on him, he clearly doesn't know who he's dealing with. Gene's been exposing Diddy's crimes for years. If fear was going to stop him, it would have done it a long time ago. Gene straight up said he doesn't care what happens to him as long as the truth gets out. You can't silence someone who's not afraid to die.
He said, yo, you got questions to answer. For who? I said, if you want me to answer questions, do interview. I got a booking number, then you do interview. I answer any of your questions. I ain't got no problem of answering anything that you want to know. All you got to do is pay my fee and I'll be there. He said, well, you ain't gonna tell me how to get the contact. And as soon as he said that, and he came like he was coming close to me, I took it back to 92. Wu-Tang, protect your neck. And that's all I'm gonna say. I took it back to that. I took it back to 1992 Wu-Tang, protect your neck. And he know what I'm talking about. Then when I did that, then next thing you know, a girl came, the guards started coming and stuff like that. And he told the guards, yo, watch the camera. He hit me. That's what he said to the guard. So one guard was like this. One guard got in front of me and I moved. He said, yo, Gene. He said, yo, Gene, because he know me. He said, yo, Gene, you could just knock me down, bro. Just take a couple of days and get up out of here. And so I was leaving. So he ran and got his camera, and then somebody called my name. He called my name like that. I turned around and I just said to him, I said, yo, bro, I'm not that dude that you could just run up on. I'm not that dude that you could say whatever you want to say. I'm a grown man. You understand? I'm not that dude that you could say whatever you want to say to, because if you run up on me, I'm gonna knock you the F out. And that's how that went, bro. And there's nothing I'm proud of. You understand? But you don't talk to grown men. I don't care what kind of YouTube show you got. I don't care what kind of, you want to go viral, you want to do this and you want to do that. You conduct yourself as a gentleman. You want to call yourself a reporter. You don't see all the reporters who went to school. You don't see all the reporters who got their degrees, who got, you know, who worked up the ladder to become who they are, yelling and screaming and cursing and saying all kind of crazy shit to people. You don't see that. But if that's what you choose to do, you choose to do that, bro.
And now, it's not just Gene saying all this. Roger Bonds, Diddy's former bodyguard, is stepping in too. He confirmed that Diddy actually asked his team to take out Gene Deal. This wasn't just a one-time thing either. According to Roger, Diddy's been after Gene since way back in 2008. But let's make one thing clear. Gene was never just a bodyguard. No, he was a witness. He saw everything. The insane parties, the abuse, the control, the dirty manipulation behind closed doors. He saw how Diddy mistreated women, how he used fear to control artists, and how much power he held in the dark. Gene was speaking out way before the FB. I even started digging. This isn't new to him. He's been sounding the alarm for years.
But he was like, yo, if y'all see Gene, I'm telling y'all, man, somebody better punch him in the face. Somebody better do something to him, man. He out here doing this, that, and we'd be like, all right.
Okay, so when was this? Because was Gene doing interviews at this point?
Yeah, we talking like 2008, 2009. Gene was spreading the word. You know, Gene was always bad mouthing Gene.
Wait, hold on. Vlad TV started in 2008, 2009. YouTube was really early.
No,
at that
he
point.
wasn't doing YouTube and stuff. He was going around talking a lot.
Oh,
and we
okay.
all from Harlem, so he was just talking a lot of shit. And it's a small Harlem is small.
So what was Gene Deal saying during that time? What did you hear?
He basically was talking about Puff and woman that was going on with him and Kim. Puff being gay, you know, with him and Usher, shit like that. He was talking the same shit that he's talking now on a major scale, but he was spreading it around Harlem.
Okay.
So it was basically a thing where, yo, if y'all see that man, I'm telling y'all better hear he got hands put on him, this, that, and the other. But we seen him.
But now Diddy wants to play the victim card? Really? So while Diddy's sending men after Gene in secret, he's trying to butter up the judge, talking about going to rehab and starting therapy. Like, seriously? He's trying to say his disgusting actions were all because of mental health issues. Yeah, sure, this man thinks checking into rehab is gonna erase decades of terror.
Gene Deal, happy to have you back on the platform, man. October 3rd, man, we're gonna find out if Diddy do time or not. But I do wanna ask you, how you feel about this program that he enrolled into?
Well, the programs that they put him in is because of he's getting close to release, or he may be released. So the Bureau of Prisons for the federal government has to give him a program based on his crime that he committed. You know what I'm saying? He did commit a crime. He is going to jail for committing a crime, but the time is going to be based on his pre-sentence report. So now, in the pre-sentence report that the probation officer, the federal probation officer do, they go by the history. If he had any criminal history, they go by the criminal history. They go by the history, the crime. They go by what the victim statements and all that. And they do this report that they submit to the judge. And submitting that report to the judge is gonna have what they believe based on the guidelines of the prison system, the guidelines of the correctional sets up based on what the time he'll do based on the crime. Now, the crime, and let's get this straight, the crime that he committed is based on the Mann Act. And that ranged anywhere from probably 22 to 54 months. Probably 22 to 54 months.
And let's be honest, this whole rehab move, it's a joke, nothing but a show. Every criminal pulls this same act before they're sentenced. Oh, I've changed, I'm working on myself. Please. Allegedly, Diddy's banking on the judge falling for this little drama. But let's get real. Having bad mental health doesn't turn you into a predator who ruins lives for years. He's not sorry, he's desperate, and he'll say anything to walk free.
I don't give a flying F about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a facade. It's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He had enough money way before he got to jail. If he wanted to do something to get himself right, to get off drugs, he could have got the best doctors. You understand? He could have gotten the best treatment facility. If he wanted to stop beating women, he could have got some psychological help. He could have bought the best that money could buy. So all this shit is just to get his sorry ass out to jail. And 9 times out of 10, it usually helps.
But Gene, he's not afraid. He used to be Diddy's bodyguard, remember? It was Diddy who needed his protection, not the other way around. Even before the trial, Diddy was trying to shut Gene up. Gene was getting sketchy phone calls from people close to Diddy, trying to offer him money for silence, telling him to keep his mouth shut or else. But Gene spent over a decade around Diddy. He knows exactly what kind of monster Diddy is, and even after everything, he still chose to speak. That's real courage.
Don't worry about somebody that I bodyguard. And God knows I could bodyguard myself with his blessing. I could bodyguard myself with his blessing, bro. I'm not worried about that. Nothing beats an ambush, and I know that. But I'm not worried about his shit. People just need to talk about something. They want to have something to say, man. Oh, Gene ain't gotta be worried, stuff like that. So, shouldn't I have been worried when he was out here on the street? When he was out here on the street, I should have been worried. Yo, bro, August the 14th, 1999, high-speed chase in Harlem. You understand? I didn't know that he didn't send nobody out to meet him. Because niggas do that shit. They'll send somebody at you. I've seen dudes that do shit and they have niggas right there in the same clique and they didn't even know he did it. So how I know those 4 guys, 5 guns to my head wasn't sitting by him. When Roger Bonds come and say later that Diddy wanted something done to Gene Deal. How I know?
And Gene's not hiding. He's not flinching. He's not walking around scared, ducking and dodging. No, he's out in the open daring Diddy to make a move. Because here's the thing, Gene knows Diddy. All the flashy suits and money, smoke and mirrors. Diddy's just a coward, a man who uses others to fight his battles. Gene, he's not running from that, he's ready for it. Diddy might have scared off everyone else with his threats, but not Gene, not the man who spent years guarding him. He knows the truth and he's not backing down.
Diddy tried to silence you, or tried to get you to stop talking about him.
This is relayed to me by Kirk Burrows. This guy is like this with Diddy. You seen him on Drink Champs with him. You see him walking the streets in Miami with him, the whole 9 yards. So I'm saying to him, what does he want to talk to me for? He ain't got enough to say. He ain't got nothing to say to me. He said, yo, Gene, he said enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough to what? And I told Kirk Burrows, I said, yo, if he want to, I said, he don't want to talk to me for himself. He wants to talk to me for Diddy. And I ain't got nothing to say to him. He ain't said enough is enough to Wolf Mother when he cursed out and told her all kinds of. Did he say enough to Big's mother? What do you mean enough is enough? And that's how that conversation went.
How did you feel about it after you were done?
I felt that, like, because they must have got at Kirk Burrows, because Kirk called me with the bullshit. Yo, you gotta fix that. You know this, man. God, excuse me. Listen here, bro. I don't care nothing about none of these industry cats and what they do and how they do it. That's their business. You understand? I don't tell a man how to screw his wife and how to spend his money. You don't tell me what I gotta do with my time. Point blank.
Do you feel like at some point Diddy could try to come after you or do something, being that he's went after a lot of people, he's did a lot of stuff, as you know about.
Cam, let me tell you something, man. If I worried about what somebody would do for me, I wouldn't be the man that I am. I keep my head on the swivel. I do what I have to do to protect myself and my family. All I know is that I know one thing for certain, 2 things for sure. I got people out here that love me. You understand?
Now it's all come to this. Gene Deal is putting everything on the line. His safety, his life, his peace, to drag the truth into the light. He's exposing the darkness behind Diddy's fame, the manipulation, the abuse, the lies. So what do you think? Is Diddy hiding more than we already know? Will Gene Deal survive long enough to get it all out? Let us know in the comments, because this story is far from over.